There is 30 years of research on entrepreneurs, and we have found essentially nothing special about entrepreneurs. There's nothing genetic, there is nothing hormonal, it's not testosterone, it's not sex related. The only, actually, to be honest, when it comes to risk, entrepreneurs on average are more risk averse than the population. They don't like risk. Then people say, well, but they do take risk, right? When they launch a startup, you are taking a certain degree of risk. I say, yes, but you have to look then at the detail of how they do it. But it's not about taking risk. It's actually just the opposite. It's about hedging. It's about constructing your position so that you can afford to lose. It's an attitude to uncertainty. I prefer uncertainty to the word risk, to be honest. It's an attitude to uncertainty, which is pretty unique, but it can be taught. I don't want to oversimplify the situation. Yes, it is easier to do startup in certain countries. And of course, we always have in mind the US, which has a very positive attitude to entrepreneurs and a positive attitude to failure as an entrepreneur. Russia, I suspect Western Europe is worse than Russia. We have absolutely no tolerance for failure. In the US, there is a certain degree of acceptance to the fact that failure is a natural element in entrepreneurship. Hence, if you fail, there may be a lot of reasons which have nothing to do with you as an individual. Actually, in the US, what people often say is, I'm very happy to invest in an entrepreneur who has failed because that person has learned and someone else has paid for it. There is a willingness to come back, and most of the big successful entrepreneurs you hear about in the US, the ones that you treat as gods, every single one of them has failed 1, 2, or 3 times before. The problem is in countries like France or Western Europe or Germany, you don't fail twice. Russia is a new market, so people are still a little bit feeling their ways. You don't have too many entrepreneurs who have done it 3 times. If you fail once, I know it's going to be difficult to do it again, but you might find a slightly better reception than in France. Now, the question is then, that's for failure. What about success? In the US, success, especially in the money sense, is socially very positive. If you made a lot of money as an entrepreneur, people say, wow, you're a good person. There are countries in Western Europe, and the one that comes to mind is France, where being successful financially is a bad thing. If you make money, you must have been abusing a lot of people, so you have to hide. France is a market I'm very familiar with, and they have this very ambiguous attitude to the entrepreneur. They love entrepreneurs when they are poor, and they struggle and they have nothing, and then they really help them. You can get a lot of things from the state. The minute you start to be successful, the expression is they break your knees, right? They kill you. They don't like to see rich, successful entrepreneurs. Russia, people flash their wealth, and you buy big cars and you make clear, everybody understands that you are successful. And it's positively perceived. Nobody feels that this is bad or... So in general, it tends to be a relatively good thing because it says success is good, making money is good, and it tends to be a proper, it's a nice incentive for people who get started.